Hey everybody, I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. I hope y'all are all doing well and have had a great weekend and a great Sunday leading up to Memorial Day. Real quick, thank you to all the new subscribers and everybody in the comments. We're getting really close to 1,000 subs and growing faster than ever, and it is all thanks to you all. Thank you very much. Now, getting into it. This week we've been talking a lot about pain management versus surgery and your right to choose between the two, how you should be given all the options about what's going on with your health care. When you're having problems with your health care, with your health, all the options should be laid out before you, and it should be your choice to decide between them. The way this system works mostly now is you go in for an issue with your back, your facial joints, whatever, and it's surgery, like right from the outset. And if you don't want surgery, they may have some, physical therapy or whatever to offer you, but that's going to be about it. They're not interested in providing options. And that also goes to informed consent. So real quick, all of you, I'm going to tell a few stories, and all of you who feel like you see your story in these stories, or you've experienced some of the things that we're going to show these people have experienced, let us know. I have no doubt that this is far more common than anybody realizes. And we just got done talking about the Lowin Institute study that was released last week, showing there were 200,000 unnecessary back surgeries among Medicare patients in the last 3 years. 200,000. That does not even include the whole healthcare system. If you include the whole system, it could probably double or triple. A part of that is money, and a big part of that is just feeding their addiction to surgery itself. Now, with me, I'll use myself as an example real quick because I've lived through it. I had temporomandibular joint disorder problems. The joints in my face up here were damaged, first in my late teens and then again in my early 20s, to the point where it needed intervention of some kind, either pain management or surgery. Now, of course, the oral surgeon I went to, and I did not just go to oral surgeons, by the way. I knew all the way back into my early 20s, even as naive as I was back then, a cutter wants to cut. That's what they do. And most of them truly are addicted to it. And I don't mean like the power or the money, though that's part of it. I mean, they are addicted to the actual act of surgery itself. The control, the power, the adrenaline rush, the smell of iron, blood, all of it. They are addicted to it, literally. And that's a big part of this. So 200,000 unnecessary back surgeries among Medicare patients alone over the last 3 years. Now, when I was going in to have my TMJD looked at, I had it examined by dentists and oral surgeons. Some people say ENTs, but ENTs are just going to tell you to go to an oral surgeon the vast majority of the time. They have no real influence over the temporomandibular joints. So I finally got to the guy that, I think it was 4 different oral surgeons here in the state of Alabama and several different dentists all told me, this is the man. This dude does the temporomandibular joints. He's who you want to see. That's who I went to off of all their recommendations. And of course, he wanted to do surgery on both of my joints. I allowed it, and it ruined my life for the most part. Here's the thing. He calls it a successful surgery. Even to this day, to him, it was a success. To me, it ruined my life. It left me with less mobility in my jaw than ever before, which I'm sure many of you who've had back or joint surgeries have experienced. Less mobility after surgery, even though they say you'll have more. My mobility was extremely limited. The pain was worse than ever. The muscle spasms that cause pain and contractions in my face were worse than ever. The occlusion of my teeth was destroyed and is never going back to normal, to the point where I have to wear a mouthpiece about 95% of the day. It ruined my life. And I have no doubt there are countless numbers of you who feel like you've had the same experience. I've even pulled up a couple of them for the shorts over this last week from Reddit and X. It's happening far too much, that's for sure. So he never offered any type of other alternative. And this is where my young naivete did come in. I thought that I could trust him. I thought that he had my best interest at heart, and that if this was what this man, who so many other people had recommended I see, was saying was the best option, then that must be the best option, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Many years later, even a couple years later, when I was doing more and more of my own research, it became very apparent that with temporomandibular joint disorder, the last thing you want to do is surgery right off the bat. You do not want to do anything to the temporomandibular joints when you're trying to fix a problem at first that cannot be undone. Because once these joints are surgically operated on and they are changed from their original design, there's no going back. You're never going to get back to the design that the universe, God, or whoever you believe in gave to us. This design is perfect as it is. They're the only joints in the body that have to mirror each other perfectly. And if they don't, things don't work. And surgeons do not have the skill for microsurgery to get this done yet. AI may change that, but as it sits right now, I don't know that temporomandibular joint surgery should really be done much at all, if ever. The vast majority of them fail after or before 5 years. It's a bad deal. Next, my co-founder, he had back surgery / neck fusion. Again, those were the only options presented to him. Pain management was never an option. Physical therapy and things like that wouldn't have worked for him in his particular case because the pain was so bad and his mobility was so, lessened in the first place. I do believe that he could have lived a much more mobile and better life if they had done pain management right off the top and not gone for fusions, which made his situation much worse. He wound up living with untreated pain, just like me. He wound up on the black market trying to self-medicate, just like me. And he almost died from it, just like me. And he wound up having criminal charges brought against him because of it, which lots of people wind up dealing with, unfortunately. I know a little bit about that too. And none of this should be happening to him, me, or anyone else that it's happening to. I know there's countless numbers of people out there who hear this story and they're like, well, shit, that's exactly what happened to me, my friend, my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. It's happening to far too many people. So the surgery left him in worse off than he ever was. And the spiral downhill and everything that it cost him eventually cost him his life. He is not here with us. He took his own life in December, right before we were set to launch Chronic Pain Warriors United. I really wish he was here for him to see what y'all have accomplished and how far y'all have pushed this in the short amount of time that we've been active. It's amazing, and he would love it, So anyways, another one that I've talked about before in the shorts is a family friend that we had in her late 70s. She had a minor hernia that was causing her some pain, and her daughter, who was a doctor, and her surgeon both advised her to do surgery on a minor hernia on a 78 plus year old woman. The dangers of putting a person that old under anesthesia and then the surgery itself, the risks were too high. There's no point to do that with a person that old for a minor hernia that could be managed with pain medications and a belt. It was not even to a point where it needed a belt. I have had hernia surgery before. It was a middling hernia, but I was not in need of a belt at the time, and she was not even anywhere near to the point mine was. There was no point to that surgery, and they messed up. She wound up having to stay in the hospital longer than she was supposed to. It was supposed to be in and out. Infection set in while she was at the hospital, which happens to countless people across the country every year, and it took her life. All from a minor hernia surgery that should not have ever been done and could have been managed most likely for the rest of her life with pain management and appliances, a belt if needed. There was no reason to put her through that surgery, and it killed her. Last, this is an example of pain management being offered alongside surgery. My grandmother, I've talked about her many times. She fell off of a chair in her kitchen. I think it was her early mid-60s, did a lot of damage to her back. And of course, the specialist, he wanted to do surgery right off the bat. Now, my grandmother was street smart. She went back to her primary care doctor and she was like, here's what he's saying. What do you think? Because she trusted her primary care doctor and could. She could. He had proven that over years. Unlike many of us, we can't trust many of our primary care doctors today, unfortunately. She trusted him, and he told her, ma'am, the dangers of putting a person your age through this type of long surgery with anesthesia is dangerous, and then the outcomes are not very good anyways. Why don't we just try pain management and see how that works? See if we can give you some of your life back without having to roll the dice on this dangerous surgery. And that's what she did. Her life was fine. She was mobile. She had pain, yes, but she was mobile, she was active, and she was involved in her life through pain management for the next 10, 12, 15 years. Her primary care doctor managed her pain. Up until 2016, Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act, the DEA and CDC invade our healthcare completely. The CDC releases the opioid prescription guidelines from 2016, one of the most damaging medical documents of all time. And she's pulled from her primary care doctor's pain management and forced into the pain clinic system to a doctor who didn't know her and instantly started slashing and burning her pain medication prescriptions, putting her into withdrawals, and wound up shortening her life by years. I have no doubt. She started going downhill quickly after this doctor did this, and he would hear nothing of it. I complained. I told him, you're killing her. He said, this is for her best. This is the best thing for her. And that was bullshit through and through. He had no right to do that to her through any moral, medical, or standard of law, and yet that's what happened. And this is what's happening to countless people all across the country every year. I'm sure, again, many of you know stories of elders or other people or yourselves that are just like that. It's time to reclaim our rights to determine when our pain is treated and how and by whom. It's time for us to reclaim our rights of control over our health care. For 110 years now, since 1915, the government has been invading our health care and stripping us of these very personal, fundamental rights. And it's time we take them back. End of story. And that's exactly what we're here doing. We are building a coalition, a grassroots movement for pain management reform. And y'all have been amazing. All of y'all are the only reason this is working and growing. And y'all blow me away. Thank you. So that's it. Please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Let us hear your stories. I know that there are countless numbers of you out here who have dealt with these exact things yourselves, or you have family members, friends, partners, etc. that have. Millions of people have dealt with these issues over the last 10 years, and it's time for it to stop. Far too many lives have been lost. Far too much damage has been done. So many special, unique, talented people not being able to achieve their full potential just because their pain is not being well managed. It's time to reclaim our rights, and with all of you, we're going to do it. So thank you all. Leave your comments, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm Marlon with Chronic Pain Warriors United. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. We'll see you this week on Monday. Happy Memorial Day. Cheers.